How you gonna try and be the degree commercial? Strong enough for a man, made for a woman. What we doing? What we doing? How you get to get that? How? How? That's not fair. Pick one. Pick a lane. Pick a struggle. Struggle Olympics, bro. Swear to God. But yeah, man, I don't like big joints. That's my thing. I know I'm big or whatever. Hey, man. Hey, man. They hate us because they ain't us, man. What's going on, y'all? We're back with another episode of The Good Look Show. It's a show about life and giving insights about content, growing, improving, and how to be you in a world where it's hard to be true. I'm your host, Kris, and this is
Theon.
And what we getting into today, bro?
We're going to get into some stuff today. Let's start off, first of all, you, me, and a couple of the guys, we went to the Clippers game.
Yes.
On Friday?
Yes, Friday.
Yeah, a couple days ago, which was fun. It was good to have everybody together. I feel like it's been a while since all of us have been together in a while. All of us are in different parts of our lives now. Some of us are having kids. Some of us already have kids. And, some of us are just out here being creative, you know what I'm saying? Just,
Freestyling.
So, yeah. not sticking to societal norms. But something funny happened. I think you missed it because you didn't do the whole Face ID thing. No. So like me, Mike and Flowers, we went through the other line. And as we were going through the line, this lady stopped us and she was like, out of everybody that she could have talked to, she talked to us. I think I know why, but it doesn't matter. So she goes, you guys got your game faces on? You got your game faces on? It didn't register, I was just like, first of all, why are you talking to us? Like, I don't. So, but she was like, you guys got your game faces on? Because the other people there, they're excited, it's like Clippers or whatever team you're rooting for. And first thing that popped into my mind, I was just like, you know how sometimes you have what's called RBF?
What is that? Oh, resting B face.
Yeah, resting B face, right?
Yeah.
I was like, do I have my RBF on? I was like, no, I feel like I don't really have that as much anymore. In college, I definitely did. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people were staring at me all the time. I had to keep keep cool.
Here we go.
But
it's always all eyes was on me.
All
I enter a room, they just get quiet
at all times. But I realized that, especially when I moved to LA, and I had to change it. And so I learned to do this little trick where I'll curl the corners of my mouth ever so slightly, so it turns from a straight face to a pleasant kind of face, right? It's a bit more welcoming. When she said that, I was just like, I know I don't got my RBF on. I was like, I got my RPF on.
Resting pimp face.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What is it?
It could probably be interchangeable.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I know I had my resting pretty face on.
There we go. There we go. That makes sense. Okay. All right.
But all of that sort of plays into some of what I want to talk about today, which is
you didn't finish the story.
That was it. That was it. Oh, I told her. I said nah, I don't have my game face on. My face stays on pretty.
Okay. All right. We could go ahead, man. Go what you was about to say, bro.
Nothing, Muad? Nothing? No? Okay. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Come on, man.
Jeez,
Come on, man. So after she heard that, though, she was like, y'all can go.
Yeah,
y'all can
I bet. There we go.
Of course, Mike and Flowers weren't putting up with it either. They were just like, come on, man. Can't take this man anywhere. Yeah. I think all of that sort of plays into, I have this perception of myself and the way that I present myself in public and the way that I am viewed. And I think that the way that we view ourselves is drastically different than the way that other people view us. Because she could have seen my face and been like, he looks like he's not in a good mood. Like he's not having a good time. Like he's about to go to the game, all this kind of stuff. He looks so serious, But in my head, I'm just like, I'm with my boys. Yeah. I'm just glad to be outside the house, So I was thinking about that after we left the game. And then this morning I was thinking about it and I was like, I have conversations with my lady and just our perception of ourselves, but also how real body dysmorphia is. It's more real than I feel like it ever has been before. Especially, and it's very relevant here in LA too, right? With all as much work as people are getting done, men and women, right?
Sure.
It's crazy, is it not?
Sure. You be saying people looking like whole reptiles and
just
between the ages of 33 and 75. It's like
still getting work done.
It's crazy. It's insane.
Absolutely. I wonder. Let me ask you, do you think that you have body dysmorphia?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
In what way?
So I guess it depends on where I was, where I'm at. So like when I was, when I went to that spell, but after, I mean, we had lost connection for a little bit right before Mike wedding. Then we kind of all got connected again. Yeah. So y'all saw me. I remember you looked at me and you was like, Kris, are you eating? So at that moment, I was like super duper into intermittent fasting.
Oh, okay.
So I had lost a gang of weight since you had last seen me. Because when you last seen me, I was mad pudgy. Then you see me, I was just slim. And you was like, what are you doing? And at that moment, I thought I was doing good. Like, I lost all this weight. I'm looking good, feeling good. Woo, woo, woo. But at that moment, I didn't realize I had developed kind of like some low-key anorexia. Like it was nothing I could do. I was never small enough. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was trying to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I got to the point where I was like 204 pounds. You ain't seen me then. That's when I was real small.
That's light for you.
Yeah. And but I felt strong when I was in the gym. Like I was lifting crazy, but I wasn't eating. I was just eating the bare minimum. Like I was eating like maybe 1,600 calories a day. Wow. And I was working out twice a day, every day, doing like an hour of cardio, an hour of lifting, go home, push-ups, sit-ups. I was crazy. Yeah. So I was like anorexic. And I remember I almost passed out at work. And one of my buddies at work, Lorenzo, he came to me and was like, I remember I was at my desk and I just was like out of it. I could not concentrate. And he's like, Kris, are you okay? Because he was talking to me and I just was like gone. He could see I was just gone. He's like, when was the last time you ate something? I was like, probably yesterday, like 5 o'clock. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Jeez.
He was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm fasting. I gotta wait until I do my cardio. I can't eat until I do my cardio. I hadn't done cardio that day. And he was just like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I feel bad. And he took me to the emergency room. Jeez. And he was like, bro, let's go get a sandwich before we go to the emergency room. Yeah. And I remember I sat down and ate and I just felt way better. He's like, Kris, you gotta eat, bro. Yeah. I didn't even realize it. He's like, bro, it's cool that you wanna be in shape, but you gotta take better care of yourself. Yeah. And I was like, but you told me I look fine. And then I remember every time I saw my grandmother, she's like, you look sick. And I was like, what you mean? I look good. And she's just like, you lost all that weight so fast. It was like, I see you, and you was just skinny. Yeah. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm fat. I'm still fat. And she's like, you not fat. And then I'm talking to my brother. You seen my brother. Yeah. Sumo wrestler. Yeah. He was like, bruh, it's an episode of American Dad.
And y'all for reference, they're twins.
Yes.
So if you see one and you see the other and he looks drastically different, you're going to think something's wrong.
Yes. Yeah. So it's an episode of American Dad where Steve Smith gets anorexia. And I don't know if you ever seen the American Dad episode.
Probably not that particular episode.
But it's that episode particularly, he's like, hey, what are you talking about? I'm fat. And you look at him, and in the mirror, he's pudgy. But in reality, he's a twig. And I had the same vision of myself. Like, everybody telling me I look good, but it's like, you also look real slim. And then I was like, I still feel fat. I still feel fat. So I definitely had some body dysmorphia. And then the girl I was seeing at the time, she's like, Kris, you tripping. You could be a model. Like, I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm still fat. And she's like, what are you talking about? You have zero body fat. You crazy. Yeah. So in that moment, I definitely had some body dysmorphia. And then I got around that. Like, I got over that, obviously.
How though?
I realized I just thought, I ain't gonna front, man. It had a big part to do with the girl I was seeing at the time. She just kept feeding me, and she would make stuff she knew I was gonna eat. So I love biscuits.
But how does your mindset change though? I understand you starting to eat more, but how does your mindset change around the way that you see yourself?
I guess I'm not gonna lie, it had to deal with me getting my confidence back. Because at the moment when I lost all the weight, it's because I went through that breakup. So my whole sense of self was tied up in this relationship. Like who I was very much about that. Like me becoming a young man was dealing with this girl.
Now, do you think that, and this is speaking in general terms, obviously, but do you think that a lot of body dysmorphia comes from the majority outside influences? Obviously, it has an impact on your internal, but like, do you think that it's heavily impacted by outside influences? Because so many people nowadays are seeing what they think they should be looking like, right? Yeah. Compared to somebody else or celebrities or athletes or whatever the case may be. And, they get this picture in their brain of what they think that they're supposed to look like. But in reality, everybody is different, right? Yeah. So like what I consume and how much I'm supposed to consume is drastically different from what you're supposed 100%. To consume, even if we're doing the same workout. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So do you think it's largely, like you said, it was your past relationship? Do you think that it's largely influenced by outside?
No, I don't think it's influenced by outside. I think it has to do with your personal relationship with yourself, your body dysmorphia, because it's not about what the world is putting on you. It's about how you see yourself. So that's an internal thing. So
you're right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's hard to describe because you can have external influences.
But you just said though, a lot of it was impacted by your previous relationship.
Yeah. But my sense of self was tied into the relationship. I didn't know who I was supposed to be outside of the relationship. So I had to rediscover who I was as an individual. So in my individual, you know me, I've always been mega confident. So like I've really when they say when dudes go through a breakup, you go one or two sides. It's like either you out here with some super duper macking, mashing player,
For sure.
or you like just in your shell.
Yeah.
And me, I was like, I didn't really do either. I just went to the gym every single day because I was like, I'm gonna be the version of how I feel inside, outside. And that's why I was like Chocolate Champ. That's when I was Chocolate Champ. Like that's where the name to me came from. Like me in the gym working out like a champion athlete. There's another story behind that. Like I was getting in shape because the girl, long story short, she had cheated or whatever. She was dating she cheated with some dude who was like a boxer. Or something.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm about to get jacked. So I can go out. If I catch Slim.
I get that.
So I was like, I need to be in shape. So if something happened, we can, you know what I'm saying? So that's where my mind was. So I'm doing all the exercises like a boxer. Like I'm looking up exercises, training, doing 3K a day, all like look like a heavyweight like a cruiserweight boxer.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do. So in that's the perception I had. So I was trying to make sure that my outside matched my inside. But after the way I got over it, like I was saying, was the girl, because she was just pouring into me, like, you look good, you tripping, you look good. And I was like, I don't know, I don't feel good. And I was very irritable, And she realized that a lot of my irritability had to do with me just starving myself.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So she would feed me biscuits. She would make homemade biscuits every Sunday. And she know I love biscuits. Because I wasn't eating much carbs. I
know who this was.
Yeah, you never met her, but you know who this is. You never met her, but you know.
But was it?
It was right after my first girl. You never met her. Okay. Mike met her. Mike met her.
Oh, okay.
And everybody.
But it's not one we talked about.
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
But Mike met her, and Mike liked her, but he was like, man, she's so different than you. I was like, yeah, that's what I like, And he was like, but I don't know, I might get, I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was, anyway, fast forward, she just feed me all this stuff, carrot cake, the whole nine. Like she get me stuff that I know I shouldn't be eating, but she was doing it because she was like, you need to eat.
Yeah.
And then that's why I got over it, man, because at that point, my confidence was at an all-time high because I was so successful in my career. I was making all this bread, getting all these contracts, working out, feeling good, looking good, and then I'm eating all the time. And I used to tell her all the time, you try and fatten me up so nobody else want me.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. That's how I got big again.
You put on a relationship with.
Yeah, but that's literally how I got big again. So from her feeding me. But
what now let me just ask you what your preference is. Do you not care, right? Do you care if a woman has had some work done, or do you prefer are strictly like all natural? Or there are some men that prefer women that do have work done.
See, I'm somebody that's all about you should feel good as you. So if I had a preference, I don't necessarily like girls that have a lot of weave. My preference, I don't like girls that have a lot of makeup, lashes. That's not my thing. The acrylic, that's not my thing.
Okay.
I want you to be comfortable being you.
What about body work? Like,
if a girl want to have plastic surgery on herself, I feel like it's not my place to say yes or no.
No. But I'm asking you. I'm asking you, Kris Stith.
Yeah.
What is your preference though? Because we all have a preference.
You're right. I'd rather you be regular.
Okay.
That's me.
You're natural.
Yeah, like just be yourself. Because I want to know what you look like.
For sure. And that's something that I think about too. Because one of the biggest freaking conglomerate families to ever, however you
Jesus.
say it. The Kardashians.
Here we go.
Right. Some of the most influential people of our generation.
Yeah.
All except for probably one, I think Kendall.
Okay.
I think she's pretty natural. No,
I don't know.
I don't know either. But like Kim and Khloe and like them, how much work that they've had done.
Okay.
Right. It's hard to see the impact that they have, especially on women, and because they quote unquote make it look good, right? So then other women are just like, oh, I can do that too, if I'm not happy with certain parts of my body. But then us as men are just like, but that's not what you look like though, because once you have kids, they're still going to have that nose. No matter how many nose jobs you get, they're still going to have that nose.
I always feel like the Kardashians or whatever are a bad point of reference for people getting work done because they already were pretty. To me. What?
Kim, maybe.
I feel like Kim was. To me, she like Princess Jasmine.
But I'm talking about all of them though.
So I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not trying to get in here and disparage people. But we all know who we're talking about. I get it. She might not be the most attractive Kardashian. Okay.
Well, we're also talking in general terms. Yes.
Because when you see the kids all look cute. They make cute babies. You gotta have good genes to make cute babies.
I think most kids look okay in the early stages of development. No,
not true.
I said most.
Not true.
Most
kids,
do.
I feel like most kids ugly.
Plus, when you mix, speaking from the perspective of a mixed individual,
There we go.
you know, the likelihood of you coming out good looking is higher, I feel like, especially with their type of mix. Mixing Kim with Kanye.
So I feel like that's not always true. That's not always true because it's like the thing, because you got to have, it's almost, I hear what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm trying to point out what I feel like you can't have the exception be the rule. So it's like to say that the Kardashians have influenced the generation to keep getting all this work done. I feel like that only has to deal with certain people that are very locked in with that vapid lifestyle. Because I don't think the average everyday woman wanted, like black women.
It's the trickle down effect. If they are the most influential people that we have right now, right? Or some of the most influential people that we have of our generation.
Okay.
And it trickles down to the next most influential, trickles down to the next most influential, and then trickles down to us, right?
Yes.
It's all stemming from one place because the Kardashians are influencing these people that are influencing these people that are influencing us.
Okay.
Whether if we're influenced by this tier of people, this tier of people, this tier of people, it starts somewhere.
Yeah, but I feel like it still go back to having self-esteem issues. Like I remember.
No, I agree.
Because it's like if you a baddie, you bad. Like if you bad naturally, why would you get work done? You bad. Like just, and that's the thing.
I don't know.
Like when they used to talk about Kim Kardashian getting all this nerd, I was like, why? She already looked. To me,
I 1000%
I was like,
agree.
she already looked good. What the fuck? What else she
1000%
gotta
agree.
do? And it's
I
like,
agree.
but then you know that goes into she's trying to attract a certain individual. Like you saying, let's take it to some more current. Because I'm not trying to say Kardashians aren't the most influential people, but that's for our generation.
There's definitely some of the most.
For our generation though, that's not the new generation. The new girls, they don't be following the Kardashians like that. They like Skims, but that's not their icon.
So then who do they like then?
Tate McRae.
She's a
She's the
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like those are the people. Like when you see some of them girls on TikTok, the little own.
And you don't think that they're being influenced by the Kardashians?
Yeah, 100%.
And look at even the younger Kylie, all the work that she's had done.
Yeah, but just because she's, yes, I hear what you're saying. But it's like she not Kim though.
I agree.
And
I agree. I'm just talking about the impact that they are having, right? It's as an outside influence, the impact that they're having on everybody else. And the perception that they are creating that for you to be beautiful, you have to get work done.
Yeah, but I feel like the only reason, the caveat of them getting the work done is because they want to attract a certain partner that live a certain lifestyle.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So it's like, because.
So do you think that us as men sometimes are perpetuating this?
No. Because of the idea of what you want for your lust versus what you want for your partner, two different things.
Well, I think that's
Who you
contingent upon like where you're at in your stage of life, because there are so many people that are still in that lust phase.
I was trying
and want to stay in that lust phase, and that's a whole nother conversation too.
Yeah.
It's just like, is where does that stop? And are some people lying to themselves and saying like, oh no, I'm good. Like I don't need to settle down. I don't need like da 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 da. When deep down, most people actually do want that.
All right, so look. So let's look at Zion Williamson.
Okay.
Who is he alleged to be with? Mariah Mills or whatever her name is.
Who's
a porn
that?
star. It's
Okay,
a porn star.
a porn
Have you
star,
seen her on Twitter? Like not her videos, but like
No,
recent
I
pictures.
have no idea who she is. No.
So on Twitter, they like I'm on Twitter like to follow sports. Like I like following sports Twitter.
Sure.
No, come on, bro. You do get a lot of information on Twitter for real. Like they have like some of the best. All my memes I be sending in the group chat. I get those from Twitter. Like the little wild memes, the crazy, like the respectfully looking. That's from Twitter and stuff like that. So anyway, fast forward. They had a picture of her recently, bro. It was so crazy that how she looked versus like, cause I remember what she looked like when she first came out to where she is now. It's like, and the caption just said, Zion is a sick Negro. That's all it said. And when you see it, it's insane. It's like she had her breasts done. She already was thick. She had her butt done. She was already thick. She had her thighs reduced. She like an ant. She's like a real life ant. Like her face was, her lips was swole. She already had all that stuff.
Yeah.
She didn't need to work. But who she dealing with? He wanted her to be, I guess, thicker.
You think so? You think that's what it was?
Who paying for it?
Yeah.
Who else paying for it?
You don't think she's making enough money from porn?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't.
Or OnlyFans or whatever.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't follow her like that to know,
Okay.
but it's like I know the biggest thing from last year was her and Zion.
But you sort of just answered my question though. Are men perpetuating that? Because it sounds like from what you just said that Zion is perpetuating that. This is what I want.
For lust, but that's not his partner. He banging her. That's what I'm trying to say. Like when you see Anthony Edwards, he married Shawty he's grew up with, but who he got kids with, they don't look like his wife. And it's like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's like he doing what young dudes do with money. You go out and find Jones that you can pay for. Why would I build a relationship with you? I don't want a lifestyle with you. I want a life with you. I just want to be with you for this moment. That's it. Here's your money. It just so happened he not the best at strapping up or pulling out. One of the two. You gotta be good at one of the two. Can't be out here just freestyling like that.
Where did any of this even come from in the first place? Honestly, like we were watching. You see Indecent Proposal?
No, what is that?
It's with Demi Moore, Woody Harrelson, a young like Robert Redford.
I know who all those people are, but I've never seen that movie.
Great movie. But looking at a young Demi Moore and like that era, right, where all natural was it.
No, they watch.
Pamela Anderson is different. That's different.
She used to be the kid.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
But the majority though, because if you look at the industry now, the majority of people have had some sort of work done, whether if it's lip fillers, some sort of nose, whatever, a slight enhance, whatever the case may be. Whereas back then, it was, I feel like, a lot less.
It was Girl Next Door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
So
agree with
when did this whole perspective change?
2000s.
Well, why?
Because that's what the platinum era. That's when I feel like that's when pop culture and black culture became synonymous.
Well, what was it about pop culture that was sort of
hip hop? Thick, thick girls, and you got these models that was all slim, thick Latinas, all of them. When you look back in time, they all look black. They were saying they was black. A lot of them was Puerto Ricans, Dominicans from New York, Atlanta, California. It's like you be thinking they black, they not. Like you, Bernice Burgos. You seen her? She like she a grandmother or something. I don't know, maybe not, but she like 40, 50 years old. Man, would. It's impossible, bro. She the godmother of this whole getting work done. Little nip tucks, little bit here, a little bit. It's insane, and it's like, what you supposed to do with that? She was a video vixen when "Pump It Up" was a new song. We was little kids. She still looked like that, still pulling young dudes.
Now, what do you think it is about the difference between a person that has the work ethic versus just, for lack of a better term, taking the shortcut, right? Just getting the work done.
Money.
You think so?
Access. Why would I sit here and do all these sit-ups so I can go to the Dr. Miami and get the abs? Why would I be disciplined when I know I could just get such and such to pay for it?
Well, that's the question though, right? It's like, but what separates that person from, because you see there are a lot of women that are building shelves in the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they have that work ethic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure now that they've built those shelves, they have a huge following now. And they have the money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got the little meme like you find a torta in the gym. It's like getting Bitcoin in 2009. Like it's like you going come up. You just gotta wait. You just gotta wait. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like you do that, but you gotta be with somebody that you gotta realize that's their lifestyle though, and how much of that you gonna be willing to deal with yourself because you gotta fold into that lifestyle. Like you have a lifestyle you live. You go to the gym. You're very consistent and not regimented even. So if your partner has to fall into that because you're not changing from that, you're not deviating from that. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's an investment, and not a lot of people have the discipline or let's say they don't know how to be supportive in that all the time. Because everybody want the reward. They want the reward, but nobody want to do the work. And that's a constant thing. That's a trope that's been
now. To be fair, I do understand like those people that say like a boob job. That's something you can't grow, right?
Yeah. Genetics.
Or like your nose, right? You
Genetics.
Can't change. Yeah. Right. So I get that, and I get how having like the big arch in your nose or whatever can take a toll on your.
Word to Kanye West. He's wildin'.
Anyways, I ask all these questions because I recognize you as someone that does put in the work.
Yeah.
Right. You do put in the work, and even if you did have access to or had the means to be able to pay for certain things,
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
No.
Right. And I respect that. You know, and to be fair, I'm sure that there are some people out there that are getting certain work done that have earned it on their own, right? They paid for it themselves, and I can respect that too. But I think that there's a fine line between, you know, taking it too far or doing it for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? And then doing it because there's something that ever since you were a kid, your nose bothered you. Like but
your nose only bothered you because somebody said something to you about it. When I was growing up, I had curly hair, looked like a jury curl. You said that on Friday.
I did.
That I got a jury curl. And it's something I had to learn how to deal with. And I remember when I was little, it kind of bothered me because I was like, what's a jury curl? And I look it up and they got that dude from Soul Glow, the Soul Last Glow. Dragon with the super oily, slick hair.
Yeah.
And you looking like a fake, what's his name? The singer. Well, all night long, all night. Who's that? All night. Lonnie.
I know you're talking about that.
Anyway, yeah. So it looked like a fake me out him. And I was like, I don't look like him. And I was like, that's what people see when they see me. And I had to have a real conversation with myself in that moment. Like, oh, people are paying to have the hair that grows naturally out of my head. Oh, that's not an insult.
Kris.
Yeah.
No name shall be named.
Okay.
There are people who have certain aspects of their body that they want like either enhanced or reduced. And there are other people that are looking at that and paying to have what they have.
Yeah.
That is wild to me.
Yeah.
Wild to me. There are some women that are naturally built with an hourglass figure.
Yeah.
Right? But they see slimmer celebrities or whatever, and there's like, oh, okay, I want to trim my waist down. Right? I want to take away some of that. And in my head, I'm just like, that seems backwards to me because there are people that are paying to get that put in. What is this face?
It goes into your value system and where you are.
No, what was your initial thought? What was your initial thought when I was saying that?
You dealing with a black person that want to be white. And I mean, I was dating a girl. She was, you know, y'all heard her, talked to her on Friday.
Okay.
And when I met her, that's when I say all the stuff about her or whatever, it was just like, she had all the stuff that you would think she would have a problem, but she don't. She just love herself.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. It's like, which, you know, she be trying to be slim. She's like, oh, it's okay. Now I be telling her, I'm like, you look fine. She's like, no, I want to go. I'm like, you don't need to go to no gym. You look great. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Little things saying. She's like, you know what? You're right. I don't need to be, but it's like the way she dealt with it in the UK is that everybody wanted somebody that was either super duper heavy or super duper real thin. Yeah. And she was just right in the middle. She not too thin and she not too thick. So it's like people will look at her and be like, well, you need to eat more or you need to eat less. You need to eat. So she heard that all the time and she just internalized it like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want. If I want to be heavy, sometime I'll be heavy. If I'm gonna be slim, sometime I'll be slim sometime. But as you know, this is who I am. And it's like that was refreshing to hear because I realized in that moment, oh, she's not influenced by like external factors. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the people she was running with also at the time when her friend group in college, they were all devout Muslims. So like her perception of like body and how to be chaste and it was formed by that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a bunch of it came into like cultural, like what's around you culturally influencing you? What's your circle? So if you're around somebody that's having these sort of thoughts, you got to figure out a way to, how can I support them? If she wants to have this work done, but you know that's ultimately not going to be beneficial to her, how do you work with that person in that moment?
Well, I think, you know, after a certain point, you sort of have to let people just make decisions for
100%.
themselves and figure it out for themselves, you know, and just support and love them regardless. Despite, you know, everything else, but.
People pay for hips. People pay for hips. Yeah, you want to shave them down. Don't make sense.
Doesn't make sense to me either.
People pay for butts. People going to try and lose it. Don't make sense.
Grass is always greener.
100%. And then when you get on the other side of the grass, you're like, hey, yo, this grass is actually artificial. This is turf.
Yeah, this is turf. Yeah.
This is turf. This is not even grass. Like, I don't know what this is. What did I do?
You're not actually touching earth. Yeah, this is fake.
What did I do? What did I do?
Yeah.
You can't go, and you can't put it back. Once you shave it off, you can't put it back. Because you're going to constantly have to reinvest in the put back every time. And it's like you already had it. Why get rid of it?
I'm going to tell you what. I have one more question for you before we close things out. Do you think, you don't think this is dumb. There is such thing as pretty privilege.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that pretty people have just as many problems as people that are not as pretty?
I think that the problems are different. I don't think it's more or less.
I obviously the problems are different. You have no way on which party might have more or less problems.
The pretty privilege problems all rely on obtaining the perception of how they look. The people that don't have pretty privilege, their problem is that they're not given the same grace that pretty people have. And I'm saying that as someone who spoke, because when I was growing up, I wasn't necessarily pretty. But then when I lost all the weight, I was pretty. I had curly hair, I was tall, slim, buff. I'm telling you what happened. My movement through the world was different at that moment. For those couple years that I was slim, it was I could do anything I wanted.
I agree that pretty people could probably get away with more.
Way more.
But I think that pretty people also have more attention on them as well. So I think that your movements are more scrutinized than people that are flying under the radar.
No, because everybody wanted to know how I did it. How'd you do that? Tell me what's your secret. What are you doing? How'd you do that?
I don't know.
It's different because you always been who you was. You ain't go through the transformation. I had to go through I went through the transformation. I was a different individual.
I went through a transformation.
Cap.
I went from pretty to prettier.
Yeah, I stopped using the word pretty. First of all, it's insane. Pulse, like I'm not about to.
Handsome, man. Handsome. Whatever you want to call it. They're all on the same spectrum.
Having good looks is a thing.
They're all on the same spectrum.
Yeah,
good looks.
Having good look. Yes, having good looks is a thing. But I'm saying as somebody who experienced both sides of the coin, from being like somebody who was under the radar to somebody who was very much on the radar. That's what I'm trying to say. So
what about being over the radar though?
So when we would go out, because I wasn't used to people looking at me like that. I was used to people being afraid to look at my way because I was so burly and big. And then I would be with the girl I was with at the time when I was at my maximum fitness. She used to tell me all the time, oh my God, I don't like walking around with you. I was like, why? She said, because girls are always looking at you. And she's like, and it's also not even girls. Sometimes it's dudes too. I was like, what? I was like, dudes looking at me? She's like, dudes are looking at you too.
Sexual chocolate.
And I was just like, I don't see it. She's like, of course you don't see it because they don't look at you. They look at me and then look at you. And it's like, it's a competition. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want to go. And then I started noticing.
See if y'all should be together.
Yeah. And then I was just like, I don't get it. Cause I feel like you're gorgeous. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, nah, you don't get it. Like, it's a thing. So we'd sit down in the restaurant and the waitress would always like just smile and da-da-da-da. And she's like, I've been here 4 times, 5 times. That has never happened to me once. Or we'd go somewhere and there'd be a female hostess or some type of thing that's letting us in. We will automatically, oh, I remember you. Come on, yeah, we got something right here for you. It's like immediate. She's like, I come here all the time. And that's never happened. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm sure you get stuff with men all the time. And she's like, yeah, but it's never the guys you want. It's like it's wherever we go. It's wherever we go. If it's a woman in front of you and you show up, if you say, hey, what's going on? It's immediate. It's on. But with me, it's not the same. And I don't really go out like that. So she's taking me to spots she used to frequent. And she was realizing it's a different experience when you got an attractive guy with you than was just her. Because it's like she encountered jealousy a lot, which is that's what I'm trying to say about the pretty privilege. It's a different problem because she was always slim, thick her whole life. So women don't like her because she's just naturally like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Blessed, yeah.
So, it depends. And then she got to go with the perception, like people didn't always think she was the smartest or she had anything to say because she was talking and people was like, okay, sure, whatever you got to say because she's attractive. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. I feel like that's something I've always encountered with the women that I've been with. Because I like pretty girls or whatever. I like girls that's attractive.
Sure.
So it's like, in that, they have a weird perception of like people not thinking they necessarily smart. And I feel like that perception becomes something they have to constantly bump up against.
I've struggled with that a little bit and within our friend group too. And I know that, you guys never actually thought that. You may have, I don't know, but I know that you guys never actually thought that I was not as smart or as intelligent or intellectual as you guys, but I have struggled with that just because of what I've been doing for the past 12 years.
You studied psychology at American University.
Fair, but when's the last time I used that degree though?
Don't matter. So for reference point, I got in the AU for psychology. I didn't apply for art. So I know how hard it is to do those classes. So when you say that was your major, I took one class. I was like, oh no, this ain't for me. And
I'm just saying though.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you the context. I know that that degree is not easy, bro.
Yeah.
So like you said, I never thought you was dumb. Cause I was like, don't he study psychology? He can't be dumb. That class hard, and that's his major. That's a heady class.
Now I do have one more question for you. Okay. Is there? I know that you have certain standards when it comes to dating women.
Okay.
Right. And some of that stems from like personality, their morals, their, ethics, all that. Now, when it comes to their looks, where's that line where you're just like, I don't care that you're overweight or that you have this or that or this or that, like bad skin or something like that. It's your personality, because everybody likes to live this fairy tale of like, it's not, I don't care how good looking you are, as long as if your personality is, da 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 da. It's like, well, okay. You really can't have one without the other, which is why shows like Love is Blind are big failures, because love is not blind. Unfortunately, it's not.
Attraction isn't blind.
Attraction isn't blind. Exactly.
I don't know, man. About you, what are you asking me?
I'm asking you, have you ever dated before and
somebody wasn't my type?
Not necessarily your type, but you were just like, we're on different levels.
Because I found that in my relationships, you try and teach people good habits. Like, oh man, you should clean your house at least once a week.
Yeah.
That's a habit that I like to have. And people don't get it. Why you always keep your house like that? It's like, yeah, but I clean my house once a week. But what do you, well, it's always spick and span. Yeah, because I clean it once a week. I'm constantly cleaning, but I clean it deep once a week. And then you bring somebody into your world and you see that they don't move that way. It's like, hey, why don't we clean your house once a week? You do it together. It's a problem. Oh man, you should drink more water. You know how big, I've had arguments about that.
I think most men have.
Drink more water.
I think most men have had
Oh
that
my
argument.
God, my face isn't clearing up. Yeah, you don't drink no water.
Yeah,
you drink juice and soda all day. You drink, and then you want to go out and you want to get drinks, alcohol all evening. When was the last time you had a cup of water? I had a cup of water. When? It's little teeny things. Oh, then the weave. Don't get me started on that. Oh my God.
All right.
Wigs. Oh my God. Oh my God. Weaving wigs. Oh my God. My brain. Man, my head hurt. Yeah, you got fake plastic in your skull. And then it came out. You seen the report that came out? They said all that synthetic hair is made of plastic that give you cancer.
Nah.
It's literally linked to breast cancer. Women getting all this breast cancer, and it's always black women getting women of color, and they get extensions and all this. It's not by accident, bro. You gotta drink water, take care of yourself, grow your hair, put some castor oil in it. You know what I'm saying? It'll be all right. You be all right. You be all right. You be all right, man. It's something, and then with all this makeup and stuff, oh, I want to paint my whole face, man. People be out here looking like science projects.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I get
it bothers me. It's a real point of contention for me, especially when the whole little, I grew up in the little women's movement, respect women, respect women, respect women, and then they don't respect themselves. They're going to be a different person. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot going on, bro. Whole lot. All right, let me chill. I ain't trying to get canceled all the way, because I'm about to go on a tangent about people getting more rights. Like, you want both the privilege of both. You know what I'm saying? That's insane to me. You get to get the privilege of this and the privilege of that? Wow. Come on, man. How you going to try and be the degree commercial? Strong enough for a man, made for a woman. What we doing? What we doing? How you get to get that? How? How? That's not fair. Pick one. Pick a lane. Pick a struggle. Struggle Olympics, bro. Swear to God. But yeah, man, I don't like big joints. That's my thing. I know I'm big or whatever. Hey, man. Hey, man. They hate us because they ain't us, man. What we doing? That's not my thing. It's a lot, bro.
You know what? I think we, but you in particular, you earned the right to be picky. That's the first thing. I mean, we all sort of have the right to be picky, but like, what you like is what you like.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I think some people, they get upset. They get upset because not everybody was necessarily blessed coming out the womb. Not everybody won the genetic lottery.
Exactly.
So it is what it is. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Everybody ain't tall with dark skin and curly hair, man. It's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? No, everybody ain't that. Everybody ain't tall with a strong jawline. You know what I'm saying? Real, clear skin and shape. Everybody ain't that. You know what I'm saying?
To be fair, I do work. I do work hard. I work very hard.
It's not the word. It's not the word.
I work very hard.
It's very hard is not the word, bro.
What you mean?
It's rigorous. Your workout is rigorous. I worked out with Theon several times. He the only person that ever outwork. I've been to the gym with a lot of people. You the only person that outwork out me. And I feel like I can work out it'd be an hour. It'd be an hour of hard, continuous work. No work. It's hard. Everybody I work out with, they quit. I ain't doing what Kris doing. I was like, man, I gotta figure out how to keep up with Theon. It's different, bro. It's different. He looked like that for a reason. It's different, bro.
And yes, I am genetically blessed, but I've recognized that there's levels to it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
it's different, bro.
And I always want to be at the top level. So, but not everybody has the same work ethic as us.
Yeah, but I mean, but you know, but everybody don't have your level of discipline either. That's the thing.
True too.
Because I know I'm not as disciplined as you are. You know what I'm saying? We can work out, but I know I don't got the other stuff to make sure.
But to be fair, I will say that I feel like there are certain things that I can get away with because of my genetics.
Okay, that's true.
There are certain things that I can get away with that you could.
I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah.
You know, so like I got stand outside in the sun as much as I want. No sunscreen. You cannot do that. You know, you get cooked up. So little tiny things.
I get dark.
Yeah.
I get real dark. I get like you're dark.
Cap.
I do. I swear.
Cap. Cap.
I get dark. Dark.
Cap.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, man.
You know, it's supposed to be like 85 degrees this week. So I'm going to go ahead and sit out in the sun all week.
Do that.
I'm going to come back next week and y'all going to see.
And I'm going to sit inside and not go outside. And I'm going to still be talking to you. What we talking about? What we doing? Hey, man. But I feel like it's a great place to swap for today, man. You know, catch us next week. We talking about something good.
Something good, man.
Yeah, man.
It's always something good.
Yeah, man. We're going to give y'all a view of the past so you can get a good look into the future.